Hello everyone, this is Alex from Kayakingtours Moldova, and we continue our already traditional the interview from kayak story. Today we have an interesting guest that we didn't know about him at all. He just registered with us to go on the kayaking. So we are on the last day going from Naslavcea to Soroca in 100 kilometers by kayaking. We had 3 nights, and this is Sam. Sam is working for Red Cross, but we don't talk about the Red Cross today. We talk about the cycling. Sam is the person who did cycle a lot, and one of his journey was actually cycling from United Kingdom, where he is coming from, to Iran. Hi.
Hi there.
So what can you tell about the cycling in general as a way of travel?
Cycling's interesting as a way of travel because it allows you to see all of the places in between. So traditionally we go from point A to point B in a car or on a bus, and we forget to enjoy the actual journey. So one of the nice things about cycling is exactly that you take the time to look at your surroundings and appreciate just kind of the journey itself and being, rather than rushing to get from one point to another.
I don't know how much they hear us. Let's try to turn and catch the wind so that it doesn't go in the camera. So we found a place to stay. Go, Sam. What is about cycling multiple day tours? How is it about? What can you tell about this?
Cycling multiple days, I mean, it's interesting because you forget about your daily routine and you're reminded of how simple life is. Just eating and having shelter for the night and water, and how this is enough essentially to actually really enjoy your time and get back to basics, which a lot of us, I mean, we're caught up in our daily lives thinking about all of the very complicated things around us, and we're reminded of how simple life is. Yeah.
So in Chisinau, for example, we are the owners of the bicycles are over 100,000 people. Very little portion of this are really cycling. It's dangerous in the city. If you go outside of the city, is it same dangerous as in your perspective?
No, I think cycling outside of a big city, I mean, provided you're not going along a main road, is relatively safe. It's much safer than cycling in a city where you've got lots of cars around you, especially if you're going off-road.
Countryside.
Very little danger.
And
the only danger is you'll like it.
And for example, if you take an opportunity and cycle, for example, 2 days, what the expectation would be from the person to go on this, and what do you think they will discover by doing this?
By cycling more than a day, I mean, essentially just relaxing, you know. I think doing a day trip, you're not fully immersed in nature, whereas if you take more time out of your daily routine to be in nature, especially spending the night somewhere, I think it's when you really get to connect. Because if you're just maybe, going back home, I mean, obviously you enjoy the trip and stuff, but the more time you can spend in nature, the better. I think you really get to disconnect.
And going back to your long trip, so as I understood, you were going actually to New Zealand, but finished in Iran. And then you learned the Farsi. Mm-hmm. How much time did it take? How was it? Where did you stay overnight? Why you did this? But no, let's take it a second question.
Okay, so it took me 2.5 months from England to Iran. Like Alex said, originally I wanted to go to New Zealand, but I got to Iran after 2.5 months and I liked it so much that I decided to stay. And how was it? I mean, it was good. I mean, we always think, a lot of my friends were very afraid for me that I'd be in grave danger, but actually I never felt danger. I felt less danger than I did walking around London. So yeah.
But how did you find the accommodation during the way? Because if a simple person would plan, they would start counting the hotels and how much to pay for this. They don't have enough money for this. How did you resolve that?
So I used a hospitality website called couchsurfing.com, where you can stay with people for free at their houses. And maybe half of the trip I did this, up until Turkey more or less, and then in some of the major cities in Turkey. For the rest of the way I had a tent, so I'd camp along the way, and also I had a letter that explained my story, where I was coming from, and asking them if I could pitch my tent on their lawn. And of course people would never let me. They'd always invite me into their houses, give me food to eat, so yeah. Often they'd greet me at the tops of hills with plates of fruit, even during Ramadan when they're supposed to be fasting. So it was nice. It was a reminder of human kindness, and actually the world's not as dangerous as we think it is.
Interesting. So, what was the goal?
There was no goal as such. The goal was just to explore more of the world and to be in nature, and but I think it leads you on a journey of kind of self-discovery if you let it.
So, but as I understood, you studied social geography, and then social geography is, and then it was not enough just to study. You wanted to see it yourself, right?
Yeah, I studied human geography from the start because I was interested in the world around me, and kind of carrying on from that, I still being interested in the world around me, I decided to do a cycling trip. I discovered when I used to cycle, I was on a cycling team before, that cycling was a great way of seeing the world around me. I didn't like competing anymore. The thing I most liked when I was a kid was leaving London for the south, just getting on my bike and trying to discover new areas. So with that idea in my head, I went abroad and did my trip, and it was great.
What will be the message you give to others who never cycled even one day more than just the wind is again back? So
the main message is that just take it easy. Cycling isn't difficult. You just have to take it at your own pace. Don't go too quickly. Take breaks whenever you feel like it, and enjoy the ride. Just don't be in a hurry, and it doesn't matter how slowly you go or how many breaks you take. The point of it is not getting from A to B, it's enjoying the process.
I have actually much more questions. What you gained mostly, except the point that you understood the life you don't need that much. What was the gains, like 1, 2, 3 points? What was your like discovered? What can you tell us? What's the outcome?
I discovered that if you let life, if you just kind of follow the flow and you let life take it where it gives you opportunities to go, you can have a very interesting life and end up in very interesting places. A lot of the time people would invite me on the road to their houses, or they'd invite me to do things. Like one time a guy stopped me in the north of Iran, and he invited me for lunch, and that turned into staying at his house for a week. And then later on he became a great friend of mine. Or cycling, I got to Iran, I liked it so much, I decided to learn Farsi, and then 5 years later I became a Farsi interpreter. So if you're open to the opportunities life gives you, which is, obviously when you're in nature, I think you kind of connect with that more, then you never know what will happen.
And the last question, the tricky one. After 4 days of kayaking, which way would you better choose, cycling or kayaking for the next trip?
For the next trip, it depends where I am. I can't choose both. I love cycling. Cycling is what I grew up doing, but for sure, if I'm near a river in the future, I'll also kayak. Maybe take my bike in the kayak.
They're assemblable. Yeah. You can put it easily. Yeah. So you see the kayaks are fitting everything. This is not a simple kayak, it's a touristic ones. It can be up to 350 kilograms. You can everything like you put the food for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and it's enough. to go, and you can travel really long time. Not sure this you can put this way on the bicycle, right? How much you can put on the bicycle compared to this? I think it's...
I mean, with a bicycle you can put a trailer on the back, but obviously it's not quite the same as floating down a river, because if you get to a hill, then you have to carry all of your stuff up the hill. So it's if you choose a flat route, it's fine, but if you choose a hilly route, you develop very strong legs, or you end up pushing your bike up the mountain.
So welcome to Kayaking Tours Moldova. Welcome to Moldova. Moldova is good and for bicycles and for kayaking, and we wish you to enjoy and discover the country same as we do now. Sam, thank you very much.
Welcome.
And welcome to Moldova.
Thanks for the trip.
And it was great
It was
meeting
lovely.
you. Bye bye.